Today we are going to apply the properties of logs to condense and expand logarithmic functions. So we have some properties of logs. The product property says that log base b of x times y becomes log base b of x plus log base b of y. The quotient property says log base b of x divided by y becomes log base b of x minus log base b of y. And then the power property, what that says, you got log base b of a to some power there. In this case, it's a to the x. That power, which is x in this case, can pop out in front. And become x times log base b of a. All right, so the first one there, the product property, they're combined and they're together by multiplication, and then you separate them and it goes into addition. And then the quotient property, it's together using division and it's separated there using subtraction. The power property means that anytime you have an exponent inside the function there, you can go ahead and bring the x outside and just multiply it by the logarithm. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's condense the following log expressions using the properties of logs. So to condense them, we're going to bring them together and combine them as a single log. So noticing back here, your properties over here, if you have addition, which is the first one there, if you look over there on the right hand side is log base b of x plus log base b of y, you put it together using multiplication. So that's what we're going to do in our first example. We're going to put them together using multiplication into a single log. So it becomes log of x times 2y. And then I'm just going to put the number first and put the variables in alphabetical order. So we get the log of 2xy. Likewise here with letter B there, we have to combine them as a single log. Just like our last one there was just a single log, this second one here we have to write as a single log. So if we go back over here, that's the second property there. You've got log base b of x minus log base b of y, and you put it together using division. So that's what we're going to do. We've got log base 2, and we're going to do x divided by 7. All right, we had subtraction, separate logs, we put them together using division. All right, so let's condense these. So now we have this log base 4 of 3x plus log base 4 of 2y minus log base 4 of w minus log base 4 of z. So we're going to combine them as a single log there. They're all log base 4s. When we have addition, we know we're going to multiply them together. And then when we have a subtraction sign, we know those are going to go down the denominator. So it's going to be 3x times 2y up there in the numerator. And then down the denominator, both, it's a minus log base 4 of w and a minus log base 4 of z. So both w and z go down the denominator. So now I'm just going to simplify this a little bit. I'm going to multiply 6 up there in the numerator there. 3 times 2, there's 6. So, and that's all the farther I can simplify that down to. All right, and then letter D there, that's just that power rule there. Going back over here, the power property there, if you've got x times the log, log base b of a there, you can put it together and put the power back in and make it log base b of a to the x. And that's what we're going to do in ours. we're going to go ahead and take that power of 2 and put it back in here. So we end up getting log of x to the second. All right, so we're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue condensing them. So again, when I do these, I try to put the powers back in, and then I've seen addition, I'm going to put it together using multiplication. So putting my powers back in here, I get log base 3 of x to the 1/2 plus log base 3 of y to the 3rd. Now, something for you to know, if you have anything to the 1/2 power, that's actually the square root of x. And the reason being is, it's like this is x to the first out here. We don't write the little 2 outside the square root, but that's what it means. So you take the 1 that's to the power of x there, and that 2 on the outside, it becomes x to the 1/2. And so if you had x to the 1/3, because inside there you have x to the first, and you'd have a 3rd root out here. So you have the 3rd root of x there, that becomes x to the 1/3. And you could keep doing that all the way through here. So if you had x to the 2/3, that's the same thing as the 3rd root of x squared there. All right, so I just wanted you to see those. Same thing with x to the 1/4. That's just the 4th root of x. All right, so we are condensing these. So now we can change this. We've got log base 3, and we've got x to the 1/2. We've got log base 3 of x to the 1/2 plus log base 3 of y to the 3rd. There's an addition sign between them, so we're going to combine them using multiplication. So it becomes log base 3. It's x to the 1/2, which is a square root of x. And then we're going to multiply that by y to the 3rd. And there we have it. Or if you like to write the y to the 3rd there first. Actually, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. There. That's much better. It's not getting all twisted together. All right, so then let's look there at letter F there. Again, put your powers back in first. So we end up here with log of x to the 1/4 minus log of y to the 2nd minus log of z to the 5th. So let's put this together as a single log. X to the 1/4 is the 4th root of x. Maybe I'll write that one more time. So now let's put it together. So if we put it together as a single log, we're going to have the 4th root of x up here in the numerator here. You've got a subtraction in front of log of y to the 2nd, so y to the 2nd comes down here in the denominator. And we've got a minus in front of log of z to the 5th there, so we're going to put the z to the 5th down here in the denominator as well. Subtraction means division. Addition means multiplication. Now we're going to go the other way. We're going to expand these. So multiplication means addition, so we're going to have multiple logs. So log of x plus log y plus log z. All right, and then letter B. Notice up there in the numerator up there, you have 4 times x. So we've got log base 2 of 4, and that's 4 times x, so now we're going to write another one, plus log base 2 of x. And then notice down the denominator down there, we have some division going on there, so it's divided by y. So we're going to do minus log base 2 of y. Now whenever you have numbers, plug those into your calculator and see what you get. So log base 204 there, you're going to get a value of 2. And that's as simplified as we can get. Let's keep expanding these. So our next one here that we're going to expand, log base 3 of 5x squared y to the third. Notice it's all over multiplication, so let's go ahead and let's use addition to connect those. So each term that's being multiplied, I'm going to separate using addition and put another log in there. Okay, so we're expanding these, so now the next thing we need to do is bring the powers out in front. So doing so here, there's no power with log base 3 of 5, so you leave that one alone. But the 2 in front of, and x is to the second power there, so bring the 2 out in front. And log base 3 of y to the third, the y has that power there of 3, so bring that power of 3 out in front. And if you try to plug in log base 3 of 5 there, because it's got numbers, it's not going to simplify down. It's not going to be a nice integer there, so we're just going to leave that alone. So then our next one here, notice we've got some, we've got up there in the numerator we have x squared, but down the denominator there we have a square root of y and a z to the second. So we're going to use some subtraction this time because we've got some division here going on. So we've got log of x squared, and then since the square root of y is down the denominator, we're going to say minus the log of the square root of y, and since z the second is down the denominator, we're going to say minus log of z the second. Now we're going to move our powers out, but before we do that, we're going to recognize that that is y to the 1/2. Is that square root of y there is y to the 1/2. So moving your powers down in front, you've got your 2 to move out, you've got your 1/2 to move out, and you've got your 2 to move out. So let's do that. We get 2 log x minus 1/2 log y minus 2 log z. All right, so we just applied the properties of logs to bring them together to condense them into a single log. And then we also applied the properties of logs to expand some log functions so you have multiple logs.